Alright guys, in this episode I'm going to talk about how to self-publish a book in 2021. I want you to learn from all the mistakes I made publishing this book myself. So stay tuned, this one's going to be a good episode. Hey guys, I just finished up a vlog where I drove from Edmonton to Vancouver, and now I'm here sitting by the ocean. I thought now's a great time to knock off a couple more YouTube videos while I'm here, offering you guys as much value as possible. I just released this book, If You Sell, You Lose, and I learned so much throughout the process. I wanted to tell you guys about all the mistakes I made that will help you if you're looking to publish your own book, not make the same ones, and save you time. This book took me about 2 years to put together from start to where we got this first version printed. On the way here, I noted down 9 things that I think I could have improved on that cost me time throughout that 2 years. And I'm going to start right now with number 1. Make sure you have your manuscript finished before you do anything else, before any of the design, before you're making the pages and sign it in InDesign, or before you're designing anything. Get that manuscript done, fully edited through all revisions where you're very happy with it, where there's no further changes. My mistake there is we had it really good. We were on Rev 8 or 9. It was really good, but there was still a couple things to tweak here and there. We started doing the design, we started doing the pages in InDesign, we started moving it to different places, and then every time we wanted to make one simple little change, we had to do it in all of those other locations, costing time every time there was a change. Number 2, when you're making the manuscript, make sure you're using those formatting options that we always skip over in Microsoft Word. At the top there's heading and subtitle and quote, all of those different formatting options. If you do that right away in your manuscript in Word, it's going to help you down the road. So for example, when I took my manuscript and uploaded it later on into Kindle Create to create the ebook, it wasn't formatted properly. So then I had to do all the formatting in Kindle Create. If I would have imported it right away the first time, we would have already had that done, and it would have saved me time in creating the ebook. So of course I did the ebook in Kindle Create, and then I had to go back and do the formatting in Word, so we had the manuscript for some other options and for other ebook platforms down the road. Man, I wish I would have done that right the first time. Next, number 3, once the manuscript is finished and formatted, now it's time to start doing your pages. Now, I learned afterwards that there are programs out there that will take your manuscript with that formatting and put it together in pages right away. That's if you don't want a lot of fancy formatting or pictures in your design. We did my design in InDesign, and the reason for that, if I go through some of the pages, at the end of the chapters, I wanted to have notes. I love taking notes, so we had to design the notes page. We also had the beginning of the chapters pages designed. We wanted it to look a little bit more unique, so we decided to use InDesign, and we went right into it. We started with formatting that we saw online. We didn't know how we were going to print it yet. We thought we would just get ahead of the game. And by getting ahead of the game, we actually went behind, and we got further behind the game. What we should have done instead is we should have known where we were printing it and known the exact details of what we needed in InDesign. I have changed the design in InDesign so many times I can't even count. One for the paperback, one for the hardcover. The hardcover we had to do 2 or 3 times. Then we found out the margins were wrong, so we had to move the margins 1/8 of an inch. You got to go through every single page and change all of those text boxes. So before you start, know where you're going to get it printed, have that planned out, and make sure you get all of those templates so you know exactly what you're doing when you're starting that first design. All right, number 4, when you're doing the design, one other mistake we made is not all the black was true black, K100. We had a couple of the titles, a couple of the page numbers of some of the master files were in RGB black. We thought it was all the same, but when it goes to the printer, they need everything in K100 or true black. And that's especially true when you're getting the inside of your book done in all black and white. Now, number 5, on my book, I have a lot of solid purple. So that caused a problem with the color selection. When you're doing the cover design, you have to choose if you're going to get a wet print or if you're going to do a digital print when you're getting the printing process at the end. If you're just doing digital, CMYK is the colors that you'll use. You don't use RGB, that's more for online. You'll use CMYK. And for me, because there was so much purple, the printer decided to do a wet print. with Pantone color so that throughout the entire batch, there wasn't variation in the color. They mixed the ink at the beginning, so they wanted me to use a Pantone color. So that's something important to note too. If you're using a darker color and it has a lot of the cover of the book, then you may choose Pantone and pay a little bit more for the print process to have a greater consistency throughout the batch. All right, number 6. I forgot to talk about this a little earlier with the design, so I'm going to talk about it now, and that's margins. This book was the first book I ever got printed by Amazon in the paperback, and you can notice that there's a decent margin here, and there's not as much margin in the middle. We had originally set the book at 1/2 inch margin all the way around, and for the hardcover, they wanted us to change it to 5/8 or 3/4 inch margin all the way around. So this one, we changed it to 5/8 and we submitted it to Amazon, and Amazon wants it to be different. They want a larger margin, about 3/4 inches in the middle of the book, and then on the outside about 1/2 inch. So this was actually printed wrong. We've since submitted to Amazon again and changed the margins, but again, just get the templates before you start and you will not have all the headaches that we had on this one. Next, number 7, the ISBN number. ISBN stands for International Standard Book Number, and it is the number that's unique to your book and the barcode that allow retailers to track their inventory and track the process of your book. Every single book, hardcover, paperback, and then ebooks on a lot of platforms, every single version of it needs its own ISBN number. The only exception to that is for ebooks on Amazon and Amazon Books. Amazon uses their own number, an ASIN number, an Amazon Standard Identification Number. Now, for the paperback on Amazon, you still need to have an ISBN number, and then Amazon puts their own identification number on the back page of the book. But for the ebook, it's not required. You can have one still, but it's not required when you're publishing an ebook on Amazon. Other ebook platforms will need an ISBN number. And lastly, number 9. The ASIN number was going to be number 8, so now I'm on number 9. Take all of the help you can get throughout the process, because putting a book together is hard enough. Just writing it is hard enough. Make the publishing process as easy as possible. So things like Kindle Create for making the ebook on Kindle and exporting it in an ebook version that can be used on other ebook platforms as well. Also do a quick Google search for any book templating software to help you make the pages inside. If you're not trying to do anything fancy, like I said earlier, it sets your header, your footer, your first page of the chapter, your last page of the chapter, your first paragraph, your last paragraph. It sets all of that for you. So when you upload your manuscript, it's done really quickly. If you are an author in such a competitive field as writing books now, all the niches have books written for them. Getting out your book as fast as possible with speed to market can make a huge impact on the success of the book. So take some of the mistakes I made, learn from them, and get out there and write your book. Have a lot of fun. Put some comments below if you have any other questions about how to self-publish, and I will get to them. I will answer them all. Thanks, guys. Can't wait to see you guys next time. That's all for now.